Hi, welcome back to the Everything Sparkle Show. So with us we have Moses, who wrote this, and I love this cover, by the way. I love all of it. Explain to us Always With Me.
So Always With Me came about after I had spent 21 years in the hospital. I was always in and out.
21 years. How old are you now?
I'm 31. And so I ended up going to college right after that, didn't really comprehend everything that happened to me. Went to college for about 4 or 5 years. It was hard for me to graduate. I got an AA degree in a couple of areas. And then I went to the ministry, and as I was helping people, I kind of came to a point, like a spiritual battle in my life, where like, you know what, I need help myself. And I started to reflect what was going on, and I was holding so much in me of what I had went through that I decided, to write it down. And
So what is the physical problem?
so I was born with, when I was in '88, I was born with spina bifida, cleft lip, and hydrocephalus. And for those of you that don't know what that is, spina bifida is basically as your spine is open when you're born.
Okay.
And so when I was born, my gallbladder, you can see it was out, and you can see my spinal cord dangling, and you can see my back muscle. So you could basically see it all. And so they didn't know that at first, but at first they had me in the front, right, when the baby comes out, and my face was badly disfigured. So I have cleft lip, and the cleft lip is the split of the lip.
Mm-hmm.
So I was badly disfigured, so they were in shock when I was born. They're like, wow, we have an ugly baby right here, is badly disfigured, and that's just the way it was back in those days. And then they're like, well, you have blood all over your hands. And so the nurse looked, and it was all black blood, and they flipped me over, and my spinal cord was open, so right away they put me into surgery to have an urgent surgery, and they didn't think I was going to make it that night.
What was the third thing that you had?
Hydrocephalus. Well,
Okay, I don't know what that is.
so it's fluid in the brain. You ever see children with the large heads?
Yes.
Well, a lot of because the baby's head is very delicate still, and so a lot of the fluid gets in there and it poisons the brain a little bit. So that's how you get brain damage and just different brain problems, and expands the skull. Well, fortunately for me, however you look at it, because I went to surgery right away. You know how they do X-rays and exams and stuff like that. Well, they cut it on early, so my head didn't really get too large. So that they found out that I had hydrocephalus. So after I had life and death surgery, my first one, they went and they gave me surgery again for my hydrocephalus the same week. So I'm having like the surgery the first day I was born, and a couple of days later, and then they did the first process of closing my lip, and closing the cleft lip. So I went through many surgeries, about 19 surgeries growing up, and just thousands and countless of procedures and things like that. So I do about 6 to 7 medical procedures on myself a day. I could do it at my home now, and that's how I kind of live day to day. And so I went through all of that, and I went through some medical abuse and just, being made fun of, and just, it was the 80s and the 90s. It was a lot different. Now
It was, yeah.
Now if you're disabled, now they got support groups.
They do, yeah. I can only imagine.
Now you can go on social media. It trips me out. Like, I go on social media, and you have people with very severe disorders, and man, people are supporting them and stuff like that. Back in the day when I just go in public, I'll just get ridiculed and make fun of.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think you look great now, and I thought you were younger. And then you told me 31, I'm like...
Oh, yeah, well, one of the benefits of being grown up in the hospital was I was always taking, good care of myself, because they always preached that to me, take care of yourself, because I was going to...
Yeah, you had to.
Yeah, so I was always living from day to day the whole time. And so, and doing that, I was able to keep my, look pretty decent, just to eat vegetables and do all the stuff that my nutritionist got. I had like about 12 doctors, more or less.
Wow.
Sometimes 7 on the low end, And so, like, once a year I'd go and see all 6 to 12 of them, just depending on the year, And they would tell me, all right, you need to have this surgery this year, and you need to have this procedure, and you need to do these certain things. And so it would be like once or twice a year, and you would meet with all the other kids with your disabilities. And for those that know, I went through Valley Children's Hospital, and they take the worst of the worst, and also with the worst bunch with disabilities. And so I met people with cancer throughout my life, burn unit, anything badly disfigured, anything mental, anything with the legs, spine, basically almost all of it, just about all of it. And so I had kept this inside my heart, and I grew cold-hearted, because when you just get treated like that and you grow up into it, and then the world changes, sometimes it's hard to adapt. You can't believe it because you're so traumatized of what you went through. And so I went through all of that, and I decided just to write it down on a piece of paper. So I wrote down when I tried to commit suicide, and that's how I just tried to hang myself or shoot myself, and how I had an experience with God, and where I decided not to kill myself and just to have my faith in God and believe in Him, and I decided to continue living. And I started reflecting on that, and I wrote that down, and it was only 3 pages. And I was like, well, I did enough, right? Thinking it's not going to go nowhere. And the next day it just kept on bugging me. So I started from day one, how I was born, and I went to going throughout the chapter 2, 3, 4, 5 until I was 12 chapters in. I was like, I think I'm done, and it was just something I had in my heart. And then I went through depression writing my book because I had to reopen old wounds.
Yeah.
I had
you have to
go
relive it.
Relive everything. I had to relive how they were trying to get rid of me because I was Mexican, because they wanted to take me away from my mom because they didn't think Mexicans could take care of the babies that are born with disabilities.
Oh my god.
They wanted to send me to a white family and have them adopt me and stuff like that. And so...
Was there not help at the time for stuff like there wasn't medical help, like with the health insurance wasn't helping you?
Well, at the time, the internet bubble had happened, so there was a lot of money in California. So I was supposed to move to Mississippi. Well, my dad had work over there, but my doctor, fortunately, that was there. So the doctor that tried to get rid of me, send me to a white family, well, he quit because my mom went. She made a fuss over
Well,
and said,
good.
And said,
good
no,
for her.
Said, no,
Go
you're not,
mom.
you're not taking my baby or anything.
Right.
And so she made a fuss about it, and she had to go do a checkup the next week because I think I just had my surgery or something like that, and he quit. I guess my mom scared him away or something like that because he ended up leaving to some other state, and he ended up just quitting like that. And so I ended up getting Dr. Woodward, Meredith Woodward, I believe that's her name, and she's probably still have electricians till this day, and she was from Mississippi, and she goes, no, you can't go over there. Tell my parents because they're racist over there. On top of that, they don't have the medical facilities, to take care of you. So stay here in California, they can take care of you. And of course, you have to go through all the paperwork and fill all that out so that way the surgery can get paid for. Because the surgery can be easily $80,000 to a couple $100,000. You don't know. So millions of dollars have been spent in my body. So I try to take care of it. For all the doctors, the nurses that that help take care of me. And so I just went and wrote it, sent it to a publishing company that I felt comfortable with, and I ended up going through a whole year and a half of getting the book published.
Wow.
And I just went through it. I was like, I've been through worse in life. I can write a book.
How did you find the right publisher?
So I went to Christian Faith Publishing. So one thing that you gotta look at is the contracts and stuff like that, because you can
right.
You can fix a bad typo. You can fix even a bad book, but you can't fix a bad contract.
Correct.
So I went to the contracts, and with Christian Faith Publishing, they just wanted commission, 50 cents for every book I sell, just to do the paperwork and stuff like that. And they're like, you can have all the movie rights, you can have all the rights and stuff like that. The only thing is that they're not really going to hold your hand throughout the publishing process.
Correct.
So like, you know what? I'm okay with that. Anything I need to fix, I can just send. It's like $75 to fix it, so it's not much. I'd rather deal with that, and and I was getting the lion's share of the royalties, and so I made sure my contract was good. I knew the downside was I would have to upfront it myself, but through prayer, people that came and supported me, they're like, yeah, we'll start the production for you, and so it's basically like they're just helping through the process of getting it done, and it came out real nice.
So where can everyone purchase this book?
So you can purchase on Amazon, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, pretty much any platform you can be out there. Any digital platform, anywhere, and you just search Always With Me by Moses Macias, and you can read the whole story of what I went through, at least as much as I was willing to be able to tell at the time, because now that I reflect back, I was like, oh man, I should have wrote more, but I'm working on my second and third book.
Nice. Okay. So what have you been doing since? It seems, you're walking great. You seem to look another healthy person. That's what, when you said you got a couple degrees, what has been your job since?
So when I went graduated high school, which to me was like a PhD, because I would have to have brain surgery on a Monday and be back the next week and still be bleeding and stuff like that, and still try to pass my classes and things like that. But you learn when you grow up into it, you learn just to troop it out. You learn to just fight it on. And so I went and graduated, and I was like, let me just try college, see what it's like.
Right.
And at that time, when I became a Christian, a born again Christian, I started to go in the ministry. Nice. And so I was part-time ministry, and then when I wasn't doing that, I was going to college.
What church do you go to now?
I go to Mendota Pentecostal Church of God.
Nice. Okay.
And over there, we help feed the homeless and all these things like that. So if you ever want to just donate to that church, go ahead and donate, because we do a lot for the community in Mendota.
Is that Lonnie's church?
Yeah, no, Lonnie goes to the one in Kerman.
Oh, okay, but
we're in the same district, same organization,
nice.
So we go and do things together. And
hi, Lonnie.
He's a great friend of mine, And so I started to fall in love with the ministry work because I love helping people, and so because I've just been there myself, and so I went to college, was doing ministry work, and I was on disability, so I was able to do that. And I was living with my parents because I just don't know when my medical stuff is gonna go bad. I was never to have a regular job, And so after I graduated, I just started to go full ministry, and I did that for about 4 or 5 years, 4 or 6 years now. I went full ministry, but now I want to try to go into in the same ministry, but I want to go into public speaking and writing books now. So I'm moving on. So that's kind of doing now. I'm doing public speaking, You can book me, if you want, so I can tell my story, and also preach, and also do book signings, and so that's what I'm doing now.
Amazing. Oh my. You're so inspirational, Moses.
Yeah.
So what do you see in your future? You're working on your second and third book, and then
Yeah.
what else?
So I would like to speak in every continent and just about most countries. I'd like to go and just spread the message of what I went through, having to go in 19 surgeries, not being able to walk and not be able to talk, and supposed to be slow and all these things, and how I combat that, and how I went through all the struggles, and just telling me, there's still hope in this world, that there's no reason to give up, not to fight against suicide and depression, all these
Right.
things, because you go through medical abuse, man. It's pretty awful when you go through that,
How's your health right now?
My health is really good right now.
Do you have any more surgeries in your future? Because you look great. Is there something deceptive we don't see?
I have a bunch of scars. Sometimes I'm bandaged up. Like, I left a couple of times just to take care of some medical issues. But compared to how I was before, I'm significantly getting better. I've been boxing, at the Madota Boxing Club, so I go over there and I
look
box,
at you.
Which is another great program you guys can do.
That's awesome. You went from not being able to do anything to now kicking butt, literally.
Yeah, I was in a wheelchair for on and off, and then I was also in crutches and a walker, and I was in braces. But I had to watch the movie. What was it? The one? I forgot the movie, but Tom Hanks. He was he couldn't walk, right, and so he held those braces, and he was
Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
okay.
Forrest Gump. And I was a kid. As a kid, you don't know any better. And I saw him running, and now he had the scene they're making fun of, they're throwing rocks at him, and he ran, he broke the braces. I said, I can do that. I go, if he can do that, I can do that. And so I trained myself little by little. I would drag my foot, and it would take forever, and I would try to go outside, and I could only go a few feet, and then back into my class because the bell would ring. And so I did that for a couple of years to the point where I was able to walk on my own. And I drag my feet till this day, but I kind of just train myself where I drag a little bit less, and I wear my shoes out a little bit more, but it's fine, and I'm able to walk now, and I'm able to just take care of myself. And the only surgery I need to have is really my shunt, and that's just whenever it clogs up, I just got to replace it. I haven't had to replace it in about 13 years or so, and so I'm very fortunate. I've only had brain surgery 3 times, and most people will have that like in a year, just depending on your situation. And so that's the only surgery I really have to worry about. I could still have jaw surgery, but that's more for aesthetics, I guess. I mean, it could have a function, but it would really be the only last surgery I would have to have, and maybe a leg or surgery or two, but for the most part, I'm fine. And I've just been on top of it and just taking care of my health, and it's very tiring, but it's very worth it. I'm able to go to these things and just tell my story, what I went through.
Well, we're so happy that you told your story here today, Moses, and we can't wait to see your progress. We're all gonna follow you. What's your Instagram? Oh, you have a YouTube.
Yeah, well, my Instagram is Moses_777.
I know it was hard to find you.
Yeah.
It was. So YouTube, you want us to subscribe to your YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I go in there.
Perfect.
I make videos on
Oh,
disabilities.
right on. Okay, guys, so that's what we're going to do. Moses Macias YouTube video. Okay, perfect. So now we can keep track of everything you're doing.
Yeah, and I have all my social media on there.
And then you're going to come back with the second book. And then you're going to come back with a third book.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story today, Moses.
Thank you for having me. Lord, when I was born, I was handicapped. When I go to sleep, I'm handicapped. When I wake up, I'm handicapped. And I will always be handicapped. Lord, if I wake up tomorrow and I'm not fully healed from this disability, I'm going to kill myself. Hi, my name is Moses Macias, and this is my book, Always With Me.
Sparks